Welcome back to Men's Health 365. Today we're discussing something that affects millions of men, but often goes unrecognized and untreated for years because the symptoms are subtle, develop gradually, and are frequently dismissed as just normal aging or stress hormonal imbalance in men, particularly involving testosterone, thyroid hormones, cortisol, and estrogen, can profoundly affect your energy, mood, body composition, sexual function, cognitive abilities, and overall quality of life. But here's the problem. The obvious signs like complete loss of libido or severe erectile dysfunction are late-stage symptoms. There are numerous hidden early warning signs that most men, and even many doctors, don't recognize as hormonal issues. Today I'm going to reveal 15 hidden signs of hormonal imbalance that you need to know, explain what each sign tells you about which hormones are affected, and give you the specific testing and treatment strategies to address the root causes rather than just managing symptoms. Before I reveal the 15 hidden signs and what they mean about your hormonal health, hit that subscribe button right now. We're building a community of men who understand that subtle symptoms are your body's early warning system, and that addressing hormonal imbalances early prevents serious decline. Let me tell you about Daniel Richardson, a 47-year-old sales executive from Atlanta, Georgia, who spent nearly 3 years dealing with a constellation of symptoms that were gradually destroying his quality of life, but that he and his doctors couldn't connect to a single underlying cause. Daniel's symptoms included persistent fatigue that wasn't relieved by sleep, difficulty concentrating, and brain fog that affected his work performance, increased irritability and mood swings that strained his relationships, gradual weight gain, particularly around his midsection, despite no major diet changes, reduced motivation and drive for activities he used to enjoy, sleep disturbances, including difficulty falling asleep and frequent nighttime awakenings, decreased muscle tone despite maintaining his workout routine, and subtle but progressive reduction in libido and sexual interest. Daniel saw multiple doctors over this 3-year period. His primary care physician ran basic blood work, including a complete blood count and metabolic panel, found everything normal, and suggested he was experiencing stress and might benefit from antidepressants. Daniel tried an antidepressant for 6 months but felt worse, not better. Another doctor suggested sleep apnea and ordered a sleep study, which came back negative. A third doctor focused on his weight gain and suggested diet and exercise, which Daniel was already doing without results. Finally, frustrated and feeling dismissed, Daniel sought out a functional medicine physician who specialized in hormonal health. This doctor ran comprehensive hormone testing, including not just testosterone but a full panel of hormones that affect male health. The results were revealing. Daniel's testosterone was 320 nanograms per deciliter, technically within the lower end of normal range, but far from optimal for a 47-year-old. His free testosterone was even lower relative to normal range. His estradiol was elevated at 42 picograms per milliliter. High for a man, his thyroid function showed subclinical hypothyroidism, with TSH at 4.8. Higher end of normal, but suggestive of reduced thyroid function. His cortisol was elevated in evening measurements, suggesting disrupted circadian rhythm and chronic stress response, and his DHEA was low, another marker of hormonal aging. This comprehensive picture revealed that Daniel didn't have one hormonal problem. He had multiple hormonal imbalances, creating a cascade of symptoms. His relatively low testosterone, elevated estrogen, suboptimal thyroid function, and disrupted cortisol patterns collectively explained every single symptom he'd been experiencing. With targeted treatment addressing all these imbalances, including lifestyle modifications to support hormonal health, specific supplementation, thyroid optimization, and eventually testosterone replacement therapy, Daniel's symptoms progressively resolved over 6 months. His energy returned, mental clarity improved, mood stabilized, weight began normalizing, and his quality of life was restored. The story of Daniel illustrates a critical truth. Hormonal imbalances often present with subtle, nonspecific symptoms that are easily dismissed or misdiagnosed. Multiple hormones are typically involved, not just one. Standard medical care often checks only basic hormone levels and misses the full picture. Symptoms progressively worsen over time if the underlying hormonal issues aren't addressed. Now let's discuss the 15 hidden signs of hormonal imbalance that every man should know. Hidden sign number 1, changes in body composition despite consistent diet and exercise. This is often the earliest sign of hormonal problems. You're eating the same way and exercising regularly, but you notice gradual increase in belly fat, loss of muscle definition, increased fat deposition in chest area, gynecomastia or breast tissue development, and loss of muscle mass and strength despite resistance training. What this indicates hormonally is declining testosterone reduces muscle protein synthesis and increases fat storage. Elevated estrogen promotes fat deposition in chest and abdominal areas. Low thyroid function slows metabolism, causing fat gain, and elevated cortisol promotes visceral abdominal fat accumulation. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology shows that men with testosterone below 350 nanograms per deciliter lose muscle mass and gain fat tissue significantly faster than men with higher levels, even with identical diet and exercise. If you're noticing unexplained body composition changes, hormonal imbalance is likely. Hidden sign number 2, persistent fatigue despite adequate sleep. This is one of the most common yet overlooked hormonal symptoms. You're sleeping 7 to 8 hours nightly, but still experience morning fatigue requiring multiple alarms to wake, afternoon energy crashes, lack of motivation to exercise despite previously being active, and mental and physical exhaustion that rest doesn't relieve. What this indicates is low testosterone reduces energy and vitality at the cellular level, hypothyroidism slows metabolism causing pervasive fatigue, low cortisol from adrenal fatigue creates profound tiredness, and poor sleep quality despite adequate duration due to hormonal effects on sleep architecture. Studies show that men with low testosterone report fatigue as one of their primary symptoms in 70 to 80% of cases. If you're consistently tired despite seemingly adequate sleep, get comprehensive hormone testing. Hidden sign number 3, cognitive difficulties, including brain fog, memory problems, and difficulty concentrating. Hormones profoundly affect brain function, yet cognitive symptoms are rarely attributed to hormonal causes. You might notice difficulty concentrating on tasks that previously were easy, memory problems, especially short-term memory, slowed mental processing and decision-making, difficulty finding words or completing thoughts, and reduced mental clarity described as brain fog. What this indicates is testosterone receptors exist throughout the brain and influence cognitive function. Thyroid hormones are critical for brain metabolism and function. Cortisol dysregulation affects memory formation and retrieval, and estrogen balance affects neurotransmitter function. Research in the Archives of General Psychiatry found that men with low testosterone score significantly lower on tests of spatial memory, verbal memory, and processing speed compared to men with normal testosterone. Cognitive symptoms often improve dramatically with hormone optimization. Hidden sign number 4, mood changes, including irritability, anxiety, depression, or emotional instability. Hormones powerfully regulate mood and emotional stability. You might experience increased irritability or short temper, anxiety or feelings of being overwhelmed, depressed mood, or loss of interest in activities, emotional numbness or inability to feel joy, and mood swings or emotional instability. What this indicates is testosterone affects dopamine and serotonin systems that regulate mood. Thyroid dysfunction is strongly associated with depression and anxiety. Cortisol dysregulation creates emotional instability and anxiety, and low DHEA is associated with depression in men. A study in psychoneuroendocrinology found that men with testosterone below 300 nanograms per deciliter were 4 times more likely to have clinical depression compared to men with levels above 500. Many men are prescribed antidepressants when the real problem is hormonal. Hidden sign number 5, reduced motivation and drive. This subtle symptom is often dismissed as laziness or aging, but frequently indicates hormonal problems. You notice lack of ambition or drive for career advancement, reduced interest in hobbies or activities you used to enjoy, difficulty initiating tasks or projects, and general sense of apathy or lack of purpose. What this indicates is testosterone directly affects motivation, assertiveness, and competitive drive. Dopamine pathways affected by hormones control motivation and reward, and thyroid function affects overall energy and initiative. Research shows that testosterone influences the brain's reward circuitry and that men with low testosterone report significantly reduced motivation. And drive Daniel Richardson experienced exactly this, a progressive loss of the drive and ambition that had characterized his personality. Hidden sign number 6, sleep disturbances beyond simple insomnia. Hormonal imbalances create specific patterns of sleep disruption. You might experience difficulty falling asleep despite being tired, waking multiple times during the night, waking very early and unable to return to sleep, non-restorative sleep where you wake unrefreshed, and night sweats or temperature regulation issues during sleep. What this indicates is cortisol should drop at night, but elevated evening cortisol prevents sleep initiation. Low testosterone affects sleep architecture and time in deep sleep. Thyroid dysfunction disrupts temperature regulation, affecting sleep, and hormonal imbalances affect melatonin production. Studies show that men with low testosterone spend less time in deep sleep stages and have more fragmented sleep compared to men with normal levels. Sleep problems and hormonal problems create a vicious cycle as poor sleep further suppresses hormones. Hidden sign number 7, reduced sexual interest beyond just erectile difficulties. Many men focus on erectile function, but reduced libido is often an earlier sign of hormonal problems. You notice decreased frequency of sexual thoughts or fantasies, reduced interest in initiating sexual activity, less responsiveness to sexual stimuli, and sex feeling more like an obligation than a desire. What this indicates is testosterone directly drives sexual desire and thoughts, elevated prolactin powerfully suppresses libido, thyroid dysfunction reduces sexual interest, and the ratio of testosterone to estrogen affects sexual desire. Research shows that libido is one of the most sensitive indicators of testosterone status, declining even when testosterone is in the low normal range. Reduced libido, even without erectile problems, warrants hormone evaluation. Hidden sign number 8, decreased morning erections. This specific symptom is a sensitive indicator of both hormonal and vascular health. Healthy men typically experience 3 to 5 erections during sleep, particularly during REM sleep, with the final one often present upon waking. Reduced frequency or absence of morning erections suggests hormonal or vascular problems. What this indicates is testosterone is necessary for the neurological triggers of spontaneous erections. Nitric oxide production, which creates erections, is affected by hormone levels. Vascular health affects erectile tissue, and this is an early indicator before daytime erectile difficulties appear. Studies show that men with testosterone below 300 have significantly reduced nocturnal erections. If you're no longer waking with erections regularly, this is an early warning sign. Hidden sign number 9, increased recovery time from exercise. Hormones are critical for post-exercise recovery and adaptation. You notice longer muscle soreness lasting days instead of 1 to 2 days, reduced strength gains despite consistent training, increased injury frequency, and general feeling of being overtrained despite moderate exercise volume. What this indicates is testosterone is essential for muscle protein synthesis and repair. Cortisol elevation prevents proper recovery. Thyroid function affects metabolic rate and recovery processes, and growth hormone, affected by other hormones, is critical for tissue repair. Research in sports medicine shows that men with low testosterone have significantly impaired exercise recovery and reduced muscle adaptation to training. If your recovery has worsened without obvious cause, consider hormonal evaluation. Hidden sign number 10, changes in skin, hair, and body composition indicating metabolic shifts. Hormones affect tissues throughout the body, creating visible changes. You might notice dry, thin, or papery skin, hair thinning or loss, particularly on body, not just scalp. Reduced facial and body hair growth, changes in fat distribution with more upper body and visceral fat, and reduced sweating or changes in body odor. What this indicates is testosterone maintains skin thickness and oil production. Thyroid hormones affect skin hydration and hair growth. Hormonal imbalance affects fat distribution patterns, and DHT from testosterone maintains body and facial hair. Studies show that dermatological changes often precede other symptoms of hormonal decline, making them valuable early indicators. Hidden sign number 11, temperature regulation difficulties. Hormones, particularly thyroid, regulate body temperature. You experience cold intolerance or feeling cold when others are comfortable, heat intolerance or excessive sweating, night sweats unrelated to room temperature, and fluctuating body temperature throughout the day. What this indicates is hypothyroidism causes cold intolerance and reduced body temperature. Hyperthyroidism causes heat intolerance and sweating. Hormonal imbalances affect autonomic nervous system temperature control, and testosterone affects thermoregulation. Temperature sensitivity is often one of the clearest signs of thyroid dysfunction specifically. Hidden sign number 12, digestive changes including altered appetite, metabolism, or bowel patterns. Hormones affect gastrointestinal function significantly. You notice reduced appetite or food doesn't taste as appealing, changes in bowel habits toward constipation or irregularity, bloating or digestive discomfort, and altered metabolism with food being stored as fat rather than used for energy. What this indicates is thyroid hormones regulate gastrointestinal motility. Testosterone affects metabolism and nutrient partitioning. Cortisol affects digestive function and gut health, and hormonal imbalances affect gut microbiome composition. Unexplained digestive changes, particularly constipation, are common in thyroid dysfunction. Hidden sign number 13, joint pain or stiffness not explained by injury or arthritis. Hormones have anti-inflammatory effects and affect joint health. You experience morning stiffness that improves with movement, generalized joint achiness, reduced flexibility, and symptoms that seem disproportionate to your activity level or age. What this indicates is testosterone has anti-inflammatory effects, and low levels increase inflammation. Estrogen affects joint health, and imbalances cause symptoms. Thyroid dysfunction affects connective tissue health, and cortisol dysregulation affects inflammatory response. Research shows that men beginning testosterone therapy often report significant improvements in joint symptoms they hadn't even realized were related to hormones. Hidden sign number 14, changes in voice or throat sensations. This subtle symptom is often overlooked, but can indicate hormonal or thyroid changes. You might notice voice becoming higher pitched or losing depth, increased voice fatigue when speaking, sensation of lump or fullness in throat, and changes in vocal quality or strength. What this indicates is testosterone affects vocal cord thickness and voice depth. Thyroid enlargement causes throat fullness, sensation. Hormonal changes affect muscle tone, including vocal cords, and this can be an early sign of thyroid nodules or enlargement, persistent throat sensations. Warrant thyroid ultrasound evaluation. Hidden sign number 15, reduced response to stress and decreased resilience. Hormones affect your ability to handle and recover from stress. You notice feeling overwhelmed by stressors you previously handled easily, difficulty bouncing back from setbacks, prolonged stress response to minor events, and feeling that everything requires more effort than it used to. What this indicates is cortisol dysregulation impairs stress adaptation, low testosterone reduces resilience and coping ability, thyroid dysfunction affects stress hormone metabolism, and DHEA, an anti-stress hormone, often declines with age. Research shows that hormonal optimization significantly improves stress resilience and coping ability. Daniel Richardson experienced at least 10 of these 15 hidden signs over his 3-year symptomatic period. None of his doctors connected these symptoms to hormonal imbalance until he found the functional medicine physician who ran comprehensive testing. Once the multiple hormonal imbalances were identified and addressed, virtually all his symptoms resolved. Now let's discuss what comprehensive hormone testing should include. Many doctors check only total testosterone, which is inadequate. Complete evaluation should include total testosterone measured in morning fasted state, free testosterone or bioavailable testosterone, the metabolically active portion, sex hormone binding globulin, which binds testosterone and affects how much is available, estradiol, the primary estrogen in men, prolactin, which suppresses testosterone and libido when elevated, luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone, to assess pituitary function, thyroid panel, including TSH, free T4, free T3, and thyroid antibodies, cortisol ideally measured at multiple times throughout day, or with salivary cortisol testing, DHEA sulfate, another important androgen, vitamin D, which affects testosterone production, complete metabolic panel and lipid panel for overall health, and complete blood count to rule out anemia. This comprehensive panel costs more than basic testing, but provides the complete picture necessary for accurate diagnosis. Daniel's initial doctors checked only basic panels and missed everything. His comprehensive panel revealed the multiple imbalances causing his symptoms. Now let's discuss treatment approaches. When hormonal imbalances are identified, treatment must address the specific hormones affected and the underlying causes. For low testosterone, lifestyle optimization, including resistance training, adequate sleep, stress management, healthy diet, weight loss if overweight, addressing underlying causes like sleep apnea, medications, or pituitary problems, supplementation with zinc, magnesium, vitamin D if deficient, and testosterone replacement therapy if lifestyle approaches are insufficient and symptoms are significant. For elevated estrogen in men, weight loss as fat tissue converts testosterone to estrogen, reducing alcohol, which increases estrogen, avoiding xenoestrogens from plastics and chemicals, medications like aromatase inhibitors in some cases, and optimizing liver health for estrogen metabolism. For thyroid dysfunction, thyroid hormone replacement with levothyroxine or combination, T4/T3 therapy, addressing nutritional deficiencies, particularly iodine and selenium, reducing goitrogenic foods if excessive, and treating autoimmune thyroid conditions if present. For cortisol dysregulation, stress management techniques including meditation and breathing exercises, sleep optimization, adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha or rhodiola, addressing chronic stressors, and in severe cases, working with endocrinologist on adrenal function. For low DHEA supplementation under medical supervision, and addressing chronic stress and sleep issues that suppress DHEA. Daniel's treatment included testosterone replacement therapy to bring his levels to optimal range, reducing his elevated estrogen through weight loss and aromatase inhibitor, thyroid hormone supplementation for his subclinical hypothyroidism, stress management and adaptogenic herbs for cortisol regulation, and comprehensive lifestyle optimization, including sleep, exercise, and diet improvements. Within 3 months, he felt dramatically better. By 6 months, all his symptoms had resolved or significantly improved. His comprehensive approach addressed all the hormonal imbalances rather than treating symptoms in isolation. Before we wrap up, let me emphasize several critical points. Hormonal imbalances present with subtle, nonspecific symptoms early on. Obvious symptoms like severe erectile dysfunction are late-stage, multiple hormones are typically imbalanced, not just one. Treating one hormone without addressing others often provides incomplete relief. Standard medical testing often misses hormonal problems by checking too little or using inadequate reference ranges. Symptoms attributed to stress, aging, or depression are frequently undiagnosed hormonal imbalances. Comprehensive evaluation and treatment can be life-changing when hormonal issues are properly identified and addressed. If you're experiencing multiple hidden signs from this list, don't dismiss them as just stress or aging. Request comprehensive hormone testing. Find a doctor who understands optimal hormone levels, not just avoiding clinical deficiency. Consider functional medicine or anti-aging medicine specialists who focus on hormonal optimization. Be persistent in seeking answers if initial doctors are dismissive. Daniel spent 3 years suffering unnecessarily because doctors didn't consider comprehensive hormonal evaluation. Once his multiple imbalances were identified and properly treated, his quality of life was completely restored. You don't have to accept diminishing vitality, energy, and function as inevitable. Hormonal problems are testable, diagnosable, and treatable. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below letting us know what country you're watching from and how many of these hidden signs you've experienced. And please hit that subscribe button. We're providing information about the subtle warning signs that most doctors miss and that could save you years of unnecessary suffering. By subscribing and sharing, you help us reach more men who need to understand these hidden indicators of hormonal imbalance. Remember, your body communicates through symptoms. Subtle changes in energy, mood, body composition, sleep, and cognitive function aren't just aging or stress. They're often early warnings of hormonal imbalances that will worsen if not addressed. Pay attention to these hidden signs. Get comprehensive testing. Find knowledgeable medical support. Address the root causes. Your vitality, health, and quality of life depend on it.